My father was ordinary, just like you and me. There was really nothing special about him except his extraordinary love for God and humanity. He was a people person. He could walk into any room and light it up.
1941, Roddie Edmonds of Knoxville, Tennessee, enlisted in the U.S. Army and soon rose to one of the youngest Master Sergeants in the military.
It was an incredible moment in our nation's history where the whole nation found some way to go fight the tyranny and the brutality of the Nazis.
Roddie soon found himself on the front lines of the Battle of the Bulge. That was a big one, massively outnumbered by enemy forces.
After days of battle in the forest of Belgium, Master Sergeant Roddie Edmonds and his unit were captured. As they marched towards Germany without rest, food, or water, Arctic cold swept through, carrying snow and freezing rain. They were then packed into cattle cars and shipped by rail.
Dad became the ranking officer in a POW camp in Ziegenhain, Germany, Stalag 9A. Even in the POW camps, the Nazis had strict anti-Jew policies, and they would segregate Jewish men from non-Jews and send them to their certain death in concentration camps. So late on the evening of January 26, 1945, Dad received orders from the Germans that on the following morning's roll call, only the Jews were to fall out, no one else, just the Jews. Anyone who disobeyed orders would be shot.
There were more than 200 Jewish American soldiers in the camp, and Roddie knew their separation from the group would mean certain death. So that night he summoned his team and devised a plan.
He says, "We're not doing that. Tomorrow we all fall out." And he sent orders to the other 4 barracks of Americans to do the same. It was bitterly cold that morning, January 27th, 1945. And when the Nazi commander saw all the Americans, he was stunned. Nearly 1,300 American non-coms were standing in sharp formation.
Enraged, the Nazi commandant rushed forward, drew his Luger pistol, and pressed the barrel between Sergeant Edmonds' eyes. He barked at Roddie. "They cannot all be Jews," he screamed loud and again, and staring straight back into the raging face of evil, Sergeant Edmonds replied fearlessly, "We are all Jews here."
Master Sergeant Edmonds stood his ground. He told the officer to go ahead and shoot, but reminded him that the Americans knew his name. Someday, he would be tried as a war criminal.
Almost instantly, the major snapped his gun in his holster. He spun around, he fled the scene, and he never returned to ask for the Jewish men again.
With total disregard for his own life, Roddie had saved over 200 of his fellow service members. Their camp was liberated 2 months later.
Imagine that Master Sergeant Edmonds had made a different decision. Imagine if he had obeyed the German commandant's order.
His actions reflect how he lived his entire life, with love for Christ, love for his fellow soldiers, and love for his nation and his community. His valorous decision to sacrifice for those he loved, grounded in his faith, empowered him to defy hatred and oppression and save hundreds of lives.
The courage and conviction of a young 25-year-old man from Knoxville, Tennessee, who stood before a German major and said, "We are all Jews here," not only saved the lives of some 200 Jewish American GIs, but, as we say in Hebrew, l'dor b'dor, from generation to generation, there are about 20,000 American Jews alive today because a young man had both the courage to care, but more importantly, the courage to act.
His favorite scripture was John 15:13. "Greater love has no man than this, than lay down his life for his friends." And so I often say Dad not only loved that verse, he lived that verse.